Hey guys, Jim Chester here. I have Jonathan McAlees here with me. He is with Fortis Payment with Chiropractic Services.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit about your background story and how you got into this chiropractic space.
Sure. So it really starts with my dad. Back in the 60s, my dad enlisted in the Marine Corps. So instead of getting drafted, he wanted to enlist. He enlisted in the Marine Corps. He's not a very big guy. And he's doing combat, like pre-training combat. And he's about 5'6". He's going up against a guy that's about 6'2". If you remember American Gladiators, where they're like trying to knock each other with those sticks.
Yeah. It's like the big Q-tips.
Yes. And it's foam on the end. In the Marine Corps back then, it was a wood block. So the guy hits my dad in the side of the head. He literally flips upside down, lands on his head, passes out cold. He goes to the infirmary. They, kind of wake him up. Nothing's wrong. Hey, get back out there, soldier, right? So over time, he slowly starts deteriorating. He starts having problems with his knees first. So they send him into the doctor, and they're kind of looking at it, and nothing's wrong. They continue to just like inflame and have issues. So they decide, okay, we're going to open you up. Like clearly there's something wrong. Let's do surgery. This is back in the day when they would just numb you from the waist down. So he was awake. He remembers the surgeon opening up his knee and saying, there's nothing wrong with your knee. But there's all of this swelling happening. So there's nothing wrong with his knee, but there's all this swelling. So over the next couple of weeks, he continues to deteriorate. He goes from 165 pounds down to 85 pounds in a wheelchair, full quadriplegic, no use of his hands, legs, nothing.
Wow.
So the Marine Corps medically discharges him out of the Marine Corps, and they start sending him all over the world to try and figure out what's wrong with him. So they start sending him to the best and brightest doctors around the world. And he's just not getting better. They don't know what's wrong with him. Their only answer are drugs and surgery, right? So he's looking at this, and he remembers lying in a hospital bed saying, if I don't get out of here, they're going to kill me. And so he decides, I'm leaving. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to do my own thing. So he goes back home, and his mother, my grandmother, was seeing a chiropractor for her Addison's disease. So she noticed when she would get adjusted, she could take less of her medication because her adrenal glands were functioning better. So she could take less. So she would see a chiropractor. So she tries to convince my dad, come see this chiropractor. He's really cool. He seems to do really good stuff. And my dad's like, no, they're quacks, all this kind of, I don't believe in that. I'm not going to do that. So eventually he relents because he's like, what can it hurt at this point? Every chiropractor or every doctor's telling me I'm never going to walk again. I might as well go see this guy. So the guy my dad ends up going to see is the legendary Ian Grasim. So my dad goes into Ian Grasim's office. Ian Grasim takes an x-ray and says, I can absolutely get you better. And my dad's like, yeah, right. And so when they looked at the x-ray, his atlas was shoved into his spinal cord. And so it cut off everything, and that was causing, obviously the
atrophy, the dysfunction, the disease.
All of that. So Ian Grasim says, I'm going to fix you, and starts adjusting him. And after a couple weeks, my dad's able to ride a bike. A couple weeks later, he's kind of walking with a cane. And I don't remember if it was like 6 or 12 months later, he's walking. And so this was, after every doctor in the world, basically, because the Marine Corps sent him all over the world. They told him, you're never going to walk again. And so he's walking. My dad looks at Ian and says, how can I ever repay you? Like, you saved my life. How can I ever repay you? And Dr. Ian Grasim, being who he is, says, go to chiropractic college and help other people the way I helped you. So my dad goes to chiropractic college. He kind of follows in Ian's footsteps, is kind of getting mentored by him. Ian, of course, brings him to DE. So my dad becomes part of DE back in that would have been 70s, I guess, right? So early on DE days, and kind of gets involved with these people. And another chiropractor, Dr. Jimmy Gregg, who he's up in Michigan. A lot of people know him up there. He's real well known, a little bit quieter guy, but has really been powerful in the profession. He introduces my dad to my mom because my mom is there with her dad because she's a CA in his office. So that's how my parents end up meeting. So I am a product of chiropractic. And then my brother is actually a chiropractor. He runs like a large clinic in Charlotte. So it's my brother's a chiropractor, my dad's brother, my mom's sister, her husband, my grandfather's brother, and my grandfather's brother, Dr. Mike Nathanson, is a founding member of Life University. So a family full of chiropractors. So I feel like I'm as close to being a chiropractor as you can be without having a degree, a diploma, all that. Because literally without chiropractic, I would not be here today. I wouldn't be alive. My dad would have never met my mom. I would not exist.
So about a dozen chiropractic family members.
Yep. Yeah. Probably 12, 14. We married into chiropractic families too. So there's a lot of us around. So yeah.
Well, that's really cool, man. And as I've seen what you do with Fortis Pay, let's dive into that a little bit and talk about why you came up with the solution that you do for the chiropractic marketplace and how it's helping people.
So what happened was my brother at the time was running a 1,000-a-week clinic. And so he came to us and he said, look, we need a way to more easily take payments. It's very difficult, whether it be one-time payments, recurring payments, invoicing patients, all payments on our website, all this kind of stuff. They're like, we need you guys to build something. So we're a payments company. This is what we do. We process for over 8,000 hotels across the U.S. That's actually our kind of first and largest market that we serve. We do restaurants and retail locations. And so we kind of looked at it and said, yeah, you guys do need something. And all the solutions out there, the typical partners that we would go to for technology, doesn't really work. Chiropractic is a very unique situation. So we said, we have to build something. So that's what we did. We went and built a system. We integrated it with the different EHR systems. So like Genesis, Platinum, ChiroTouch, all those guys did the integration. And we basically took all the payment legwork off of offices. So instead of using like these clunky old terminals, which I like to call a flip phone, our system's more of an iPhone. So full functionality. They can both take a payment. This flip phone, this old terminal can take a payment, but the difference is we can also take a payment, but we can also store credit cards and bank accounts on file. We can store multiple. You can nickname them. So you can say, hey, you want me to run your HSA card? You want me to run your recurrings card? Full recurring payments for care plans. When recurring payments decline, we send an email right to the patient. They can click a link and pay from home and update their card going forward. So we remove that like awkward conversation of a payment declined. You can send e-invoices right to patient. So if like they owe a back balance or they need to make a payment before they come into an office, you can create an invoice, email it right to them. They click a link, they pay, and all of this stuff post right back to the patient's ledger in the EHR.
So I don't know a lot of people out there watching this, but how challenging was it for you to get all of this to integrate with all these different EHRs?
That is always the struggle. So we are always constantly working on that. We're always adding new ones all the time. That's always the hard part because in their mind, payments is all the same. So I was literally at a payment conference the last 2 days. So we work with the largest payment companies in the world. They actually utilize our software because we do really cool things with our software that no one else does. So like, for instance, this terminal connects to our software and it's cloud enabled. So I can light up this device as long as it's connected to the internet from anywhere. No other software company in the world does that the way we do it, where you don't have to have extra plugins and extra software. So in a lot of the EHR's minds, the electronic health records of the world, payments are just payments. But what they don't realize is payments for chiropractors is so different, the needs of what they have. And when we actually get in there and show them, we just met with a large EHR company earlier this week. They were like, that's what we're missing for chiropractors, because they plugged in Square and Stripe and they're like, we don't understand why this isn't working for what they need. Well, they don't just do chiros don't do one-time swipes. It's not what they need. And so that's kind of what happens out in the world is banks or, these EHRs think, oh, it's just payments, but it's beyond that.
So have you seen some of the clients you work with, like, turn their business like to a different level because they're not worried about these nagging things of credit cards declined and systems and procedures?
Yeah, so we have a couple thousand offices that utilize our system. So here at Chirofest, for instance, Paul Reed, Matt Hubbard, Chris Zano, Sarah Losby, I know are 4 speakers that I can think of off the top of my head that use us. So we have everything from these high volume clinics that, are cranking all the way down to new startups that use us. So we kind of have different technology packages depending on where your office might be. But yeah, one of the cool things was when we first started the system and we were doing like cards on file and making it easy to label them, was an office came up to us and was like, we sold $5,000 more in supplements our second month using you guys, simply because we had cards on file. Because there's actual studies that show when someone has to like reach, I don't know if you can see, reaching into their back wallet and having to pay for something, there's a psychological process that happens where they think about the product. Do I really want to buy this? Do I need this? Do I really need this? Versus patients who just go, oh yeah, just charge my card on file. Thanks. Email me the receipt, and they're walking out the door. So patients, they were just grabbing the products of, some supplements, vitamins, maybe they needed something, and just, yeah, charge me. And now we're removing this psychological process of the pain of paying.
Yeah, and to me, it's a huge barrier of entry to getting more people to feel comfortable being your client too,
Yep.
and getting repeat business off of somebody, because that's one of the hardest things with any type of business is getting people to make more than one purchase from you.
Yeah, and we want to remove all of that friction, even the decline recurring, like you were talking about. How that idea came about was my gym membership, or my card with my gym membership expired, there was fraud, so I got a new card. And I was going into the gym for 2 weeks, and I didn't know my payment had declined because I got a new card number. And they stopped me. Like I walked in one day and I scanned in, and they, hey, so your last payment declined. So we need, and I'm going, oh yeah, I got my Amex, it got stolen and I got fraud. And they're like, oh yeah, whatever. And I'm like, no. Like I have it here. Let me give you my new. And a light bulb went off of, oh my gosh, this is how a patient feels. And I felt bad for her because I'm like, that's how the front desk staff feels. This is an awkward conversation. We need to remove this. So we have that. We actually have a feature coming out towards the end of this year. Hopefully it's out by the end of the year, called Card Account Updater, where we will actually receive the new card automatically from the card brands in our system. So there's nothing an office has to do. So if your card has fraud on it and it gets stolen, and your chiropractor has a recurring payment set up for you, when the new card gets issued, it'll automatically appear in our system and replace your old card.
Brilliant. I know that Jonathan has done a lot of work to bring the chiropractic profession into 2018 with solutions for people's purchasing power and staying under care. And I think that's one of the things that's the most fundamental about what we all do in this chiropractic space, whether it's me doing interviews, whether it's you offering a service to help people with their financials or making sure that their payments are going through, or whether it's somebody like Stu Hoffman with ChiroSecure that is giving people the peace of mind to be able to go to practice and be secure.
Yep.
And I think what you're doing is something that more people need to know about. So if somebody wanted to work with you and they wanted to bring you on as their new credit card processor or payment solutions, what does that look like?
So it's real simple. They fill out a form online. It takes us about 24, 48 hours to get everything set up, and it's a go from there. Everything's real simple, easy to use, the system. We actually just had someone who gave us a great testimonial, and I was like, oh, we need a video of this. She goes, yeah, we had a terminal before, and I switched to you guys. And the person who runs my front desk is a little older. She's actually retiring soon, and she hates technology. But once she actually opened up your system, she just started using it. And to me, that's always one of the best things I can hear, because we want to make the system user-friendly and easy to use, right? We don't want something where people are used to just being able to enter $75 on a terminal and running the card. We want to make it so user-friendly. So the goal was to really make it seamless to get started. You fill out an online application. You're getting an email a day or two later. Setup instructions, videos right there, training videos, but then you have chat support, phone support. So we try and just make it easy. So offices typically just kind of get started depending on the integration you're using, or maybe you're not using an integrated model, because we do have if we're not integrated with that EHR, they can still utilize our system. And we have people that still like terminals and things like that the old school way, but we try and set people up kind of on the new way, and kind of say, hey, you can store a card for the same price as using a terminal, and now you don't have to have that conversation every time you need a card from a patient. So it's really
the thing I've realized within the chiropractic space is chiropractors want efficiency,
Yep.
and they want systems.
Yep.
And it sounds like that you've developed an onboarding process to help people become clients for you,
Yep.
and made it so easy for them to take the confusion out of the whole, what do I do next?
Yep.
Because obviously you've come through the snags and found out what people get caught up on and why they might not go forward and give you their business.
Yep.
So you've patched up all of the possibility for somebody stepping away from that last step, which is becoming a client of yours.
Yeah, and one of the things I realized growing up in a family full of chiropractors, I love chiropractors to death. One thing they are not good at is typically that money part. So chiropractors love people and they want to help people. The money is where they tend to falter. And I see chiropractors always giving away care, sometimes voluntarily and sometimes involuntarily, because they don't realize they're giving away care, right? They don't realize they're not taking those payments. They don't realize a patient hasn't been paying for 6 months, which we hear these crazy stories. And so my goal in building this not only was to create like systems and efficiencies, because that's how my brain works. I'm constantly thinking of new ways to tweak and make it better, but it was I want to make sure that when the doctor's adjusting, he's not worried that his staff is collecting the payments at the front. Because I genuinely think about if my dad was sitting on the adjusting table for Dr. Ian, and Dr. Ian's mind wasn't really on adjusting my dad. It's on the front desk because he's not sure, is he getting paid, is the payment collecting? I want his focus fully on the adjustment, right? Because that's where the doctor wants to be and that's where his attention needs to be. And I want to make sure that his staff isn't necessarily making mistakes, honest mistakes, right? They didn't mean to do something got missed or skipped. So I really love making sure that we can get in there and make sure those things don't happen, because chiropractors give services, you should be getting paid for those. Don't give them away for free. You're doing something, get paid for it. And so that's my goal, because I'm a finance guy, I'm a tech guy. I look at chiropractors and I'm like, stop it. Let's make sure you make money, right? Don't give stuff away. So that's what I love about it, is that like we can really help chiropractors, you know, kind of close those loopholes and fix those problems and errors and make sure that you get paid for what you're giving out, because who knows who the next patient is sitting on a chiropractor's table. That's my dad, right? Where, you know, this chiropractor can change this person's life, literally change their life, right? And have a different outcome. And we may never know about it, but that's kind of what I think about when we're building the system.
So I know you told people how to onboard with you. What website would you send them to?
So you can just go to Chiro, CHIRO.FortisPayments.com. So that's FortisPayments.com. You can just email us at Chiro, CHIRO, at Fortis, FortisPay.com. So Chiro at FortisPay.com. Just email us. You can shoot us a statement of your current processor. We can send you a demo, that kind of stuff.
Cool. Well, I appreciate you spending some time with me and enlightening our audience out there about what Fortis Payments do, and a little bit about the background of where you came from and how you've come into the lightness of being in the chiropractic space and serving so many people. So many times people think that's just the adjustment that serves people, but there's a lot of ancillary businesses out there that are growing and helping bringing, you know, a better front for chiropractic to go forward together. So I just want everybody to stay with me for the rest of the weekend. I have about 18 more of these interviews going, for 8 today and 10 tomorrow. And we're doing testimonials out here too for Dr. Paul Reed. If that's something you guys think you could benefit from at your event, please reach out to me. You guys all know how to get a hold of me if you're watching this. But I just wanted to have everybody have a chiropractic day, and I just want to close out. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are just one story away. Keep hustling. See you guys on the next one. Thanks, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.